that you want to change. Now, in knowing that you want to change something, let's make it clear that the idea here is for us to transform and who we were created to be. So my question would be to you is, do you know who you were created to be? As a child of God, God has given us 66 books that talks to us about life, the way that we should go, how we should go about doing it. So following his word, his way, and his will is our guiding point. It is our atlas. It is our book. It is our compass that tells us how to get to where we should be. So maybe in addition to you unfolding these questions, if you're unsure of who you are called to be as a wife, we need to dive a little deeper into that. God's given us instructions on it. As a woman, as a wife, one of the commandments that I continue to repeat because I know it's one that is frequently broken. One of the commands that God has given us is that we are to be respectful to our husbands. That is a command that he has given us. And knowing what respect looks like so that you know what respect looks like when you break it is vital. And creating peace and creating joy and allowing your marriage to thrive. You need to understand what that looks like. The best way to understand what respect looks like is to ask the man that you're respecting. Ask him, what does respect look like to you? What do you value most in me respecting you? And how do I best show that? How can I best show that? You may feel uncomfortable doing that, but I think I've said to you time and time again, those levels of uncomfortableness, those places of being uncomfortable is where you will grow the most. I'll say to you from hands-on experience, don't be discouraged by the initial reactions of your husband. Sometimes you may get discouraged because he may not accept you moving into the right direction because that's not what he's used to. So give him some grace and allow your level of understanding to know that how you are attempting to move, that hasn't been your normal. So he may not be ready to accept that. But who you are called to be and what God has equipped you to do as a wife isn't dependent on what he's ready to accept. Continue to move in the right direction. If you know what you've called to be, where you called to be, and I can identify where you are, which is what we have unpacked these last 10 days, then you know where you're going. We can't know where we're going if we don't currently know where we are. So these last 10 days is where we have unpacked. Where are you? Have you identified what resentment looks like? Have you fully uncovered how that's showing up in your marriage? If not, I want you to go back to your answers in these last 10 days and look at what are the ways that this is showing up that's preventing me from being able to move forward and making our marriage thrive and making our marriage more peaceful. Now, I want to remind you on this platform, it's not about what your husband is. It's not about what your husband is not. Because the truth of the matter is, you agreed to say I do, and you chose him. So because we have made that covenant with our husbands in the eyes of God, we're going to work on it. So because you made that decision, we are only accountable for who we are and who we were called to be. So that's why I never talk about, well, what if the husband is doing this? Well, what if the husband is doing that? That's not my concern. My concern is helping you to build your core so that you be the wife that God has called you to be. Building your core so that you are aligned and you represent yourself as the aligned wife that God has called you to be. 10 full days of hard work, ladies. I appreciate your dedication. Continue to come with me. We're going to journey this thing through. We're going to walk this aligned method all the way out in real time. Again, I'm only requiring 5 minutes of your time a day. That's 2 minutes for you to listen to me and 3 minutes for you to be in your own thoughts and listen to yourself. You owe that to yourself. You owe this transformation to yourself. And if you don't have 5 minutes, then I guess you can continue to be in misery. I guess you want to afford to continue to not have a marriage that's in peace and in joy and thriving. But if you're willing to dedicate those 5 minutes, I can promise you that you'll see transformation because we're going to do the work to unpack it. We'll guarantee the transformation. Let's get aligned, ladies.